Glad we get more than just the one series of Haas. I'm glad we get to see some PVT of his PvP. He came in with some very aggressive moves. He had those proxy gateway into quick tech building setups that, you know, game one, it worked kind of well for him with the adepts and things got a little weird. Then he did that 3-gate plus Phoenix push that got him the win. But game three, it looked a little wonky. Game two, the cannon rush was neat, but he, I think, committed a little bit too much to the pylons and didn't have the money to actually build enough cannons to make it a really threatening move. Hopefully we'll see some more of that patented Haas creativity in this series.
Yeah, well, we don't see anything too crazy. Wait, I'm sorry, wait. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say, was this Nexus first? But no, it was not. Nothing too crazy from Haas just yet. But as we said earlier, Haas doing something like a one base build would be too normal for him. That would be almost too expected. So we'll have to see him do something else. As Kelazhur acting in almost a TVT build. This was Barracks double gas in a factory. He is playing extremely defensively in this game number one.
Yeah, and electing to not SCV scout. Oh, we will find this probe. That's very, very nice with the Reaper. You means you don't have to worry about proxies at least too much. You always have to worry because it's Haas, but at least you kind of get that out of your mind for the moment. But he is kind of blind countering that potential proxy Stargate a little bit. Obviously, you can play this out from normal, but it's just a very, very safe way of playing. Now, it is worth noting, by the way, that Haas, you said it wasn't Nexus first, but it was Gate Nexus before Cybernetics scored. Nice dodge in the grenade, almost able to close the distance on that Reaper. But yeah, that's a very greedy move from Haas right here, considering the short rush distance.
Absolutely. On the flip side, though, I love how Haas is playing to his image in this game. He knows most likely that Kelazhur is going to go and be defensive, is going to react to Haas doing crazy things, preemptively make sure he doesn't die to it, which means Haas can maybe get away with something a little bit more. But with the Reapers and Hellions on the map, there is no wall in the natural until right now, so Haas does have to be careful there. As Stalkers sitting on the high ground, and there we go, full wall in the natural. Good scout there from Haas, means he will not take any damage from this.
It is worth noting that Kelazhur really did play this like a TVT build. Normally, in this case, as the Terran, you would go 2 Reapers, 1 Hellion. He's gone for 3 Reapers, 2 Hellions. Will manage to avoid losing any of these. But with that full wall in the natural, Kelazhur's not getting through here. He is not going to get any damage done. And he slows down his tech, slows down his expansion a little bit by going for those extra units. So the fact that he's not getting any damage done is going to put him in an uncomfortable situation. Ooh, I love this. The cancel rebuild on the gateway here. He knows he doesn't have enough units to push his opponent back, but he can just rebuild that gateway. Give him by himself more time.
That he can. As she should cancel it now. Blink is about halfway done. How many gateway? Is that 3 gates on the way? Okay, it's gonna be 4-gate blink. I don't think it's gonna be anything more than that, but of course Haas exists to surprise us. But no, okay, he's gonna take his 3rd base. So we've been building this up as, oh god, look at all the stuff Haas does. The aggression is a later Nexus into 4-gate, but that is rather stead in comparison to the craziness that we're used to from the time when he's Protoss.
It really is, but that's part of what makes him strong, is when he does play macro-ish play or macro-adjacent builds. You always wonder, always in the back of your mind, they're like, is there a dark shrine on the map somewhere? What's the weirdness? What's the aggression? What's the angle? And that's him playing to his reputation. Now, this is still going to be a very aggressive push. Actually, why he's not building a War Prism yet? And he's... No, okay. Oh, I love this. All right, I didn't notice it yet, but he has done this before. No gases at the natural. This is 2 gas, double forge. He is gonna go heavy gateway man style, and he is gonna pump a crap ton of probes. This is almost a macro cheese. He used this to beat Cure many months ago in an ESL Open Cup. Did it a couple times since then. Hasn't done it in a while, but it is a very strong style.
It is. This is something that Zest has also been playing around with in a different way. We talked about this in the first series of the day. Actually happened to also have Haas in it, where we see Zest trying to make this charge lot. I mean, you need more gas for it, but charge lot blink DT style against Terran work. This, I think, is just going to be much more of Haas saying, ahaha, Zealot Printer go burr, as the Stalker will be able to get out for now. And this is all based around, predicated around the timing where Kelazhur takes his third. Yes, having mass probes, having a good economy is nice, but there's also the world where you actually have less probes than you might otherwise do, because it is only 2 gas. You get up to, I think it's 55 probes, and then you just, again, flood the Zealots, hope to catch the Terran player as they look to move out to the third. We're gonna have to see whether Kelazhur goes for that.
Well, so the way Haas plays it, he likes playing this where you actually go insane on the macro. Like, he played this before, the style I'm talking about versus Kier when he won that one. He went up to eventually 7 Nexus, and I think it was 17 gateways and 105 probes. Now, I don't think we're going to see that on Curious Minds, but I do think we're going to see a lot of units coming down. That being said, he got hard supply block just now. He is building 5 pylons at a time. This is a big problem for him. He will have charging time with this attack, but he has not been able to build units for a little while, and he's only on 7 gateways at the moment. I'm very worried about his ability to hold this attack.
Oh, he's going to get a blink right on top of the Stalkers. Those Zealots eating the front. The Stalkers getting on top of the tanks on the backside, but they're not target firing it down. That being said, they're not taking tank damage. It's just Marauder damage, but even still, we're seeing the Stalkers go down. The tank falls, though, and that is the linchpin of this push. It looks like for now, Haas, it wasn't the prettiest of engagements, but it's enough. Haas now, he holds, he makes the Raven down, and that push from Kelazhur did not get what it needed to do.
No, it did not. Oh, Kelazhur might have had a chance to save this Raven. Oh, but no, it will not get away. That's a little bit unfortunate. And now, I am really liking this position for Haas. Kelazhur did not have +1 attack with that. If he had, I think that fight goes very differently, because he barely lost as it was. Haas kind of rushed that engagement. And as a result, Kelazhur could, with the +1 weapons, could have taken a very, very good fight, but he didn't have it. And now it is going to be a significant upgrade lead for Haas, and he should be able to get pretty much immediately into his 2-2. He's going to need a little bit more gas in the bank, but not a whole lot more. He's still only on 2 gases for now. 4th Nexus is nearly done, and he's pumping out more probes. This is looking eerily similar to the style that I described, except he's adding on an Immortal. It needs to deal with this drop in the main. This is going to be a little bit of a pain.
Is it, though? You have a recall. You have 7 Zealot, like, so many Zealots. And now there we go. Medevac will stay alive. I want to go back to that last fight just for a second, though, Steadfast, because we talked about, oh, Haas, he blinks on top of the tanks. He doesn't target fire them down. Oh, no. But I think that was actually on purpose. Because you blink on top of the tanks. The tanks can't fire. And then you've removed a solid third of the army supply from the fight for most of your army. It feels like a mistake. You want to blink on top and kill the tanks. But in that instance, it really did help him carry the fight. And that is so many Zealots.
It is this. You were right about Zealot Printer Go Burr. He does have the money for the double upgrades, but he is going to look to end this game. That is so many Zealots. Kelazhur is going to lose a crap ton of SCVs on this base. 22 getting obliterated right there. +1 infantry weapons will complete now, but Haas can just back away and be very content with his position in this game.
Well, we do have that drop in the main base, trying to get something. It's starting to try to do a little bit, but Kelazhur, I don't know that you want to move out on the map here, but that is a lot of stuff. And he will be forced back. Looks like the drop cleaned up on the backside as well, so we're all good there. And Kelazhur down massively in supply.
Yeah, so far, like, I think it's fair to say that this is a pretty insurmountable supply lead unless Haas makes a gigantic blunder. And for now, he can kind of just stay out of range of this high ground tank and continuously deny this third command center. Kelazhur, this is way too many Zealots. You need a crap ton of mines. Hold position. Oh my, okay, those were some good mine shots. Haas really shouldn't be attacking up in here. He doesn't need to. And he actually just threw away a crap ton of Zealots.
That was the mental damage right there. You hold position on top of the Widow Mines just so you take all the shots and says, look, I don't care. Come at me. But the drop, there's actually a big drop on the 4th base. It's knocking down a decent amount. It's not really dealt with just yet. A couple Zealots warped in, but that's not enough to deal with this because 2-2 of Haas is not yet done. So Just a little bit of equalizing damage. It's still a big problem as now Haas taking the fight in the middle of the map. The third base goes down, and everything I'm saying about, I was about to say, it's not true anymore because that third orbital is so important.
It is worth noting as well that this drop on the bottom side was mostly Marauders, so it actually plays right into Haas's hands. Haas able to warp in Zealots initially. Oh, and he gets the full medevac. God, that is some brutal, brutal luck. Unless, of course, somehow Haas knew which one it was loaded into, you know, kind of marked the HP because there was a bit of a difference there. If he did, you know, kudos to him. But if not, I mean, damn, that's unlucky for Kelazhur. But I gotta say, you sending the Marauders to the bottom side feels like such a weird move. Like, it's not going to work against the Zealot warp-ins, and if it was pure Marines, he might still be trying to deal with that drop, or at least had to have gone all the way home to deal with it.
No, I think it was a base sniping attempt, not a probe sniping attempt. You drop in there with 2 medevacs, 8 Marauders maybe, 2-3 medevacs, whatever it was, and then you just kill a lot. You kill the base so quickly, but he didn't quite target fire it down appropriately, so that was that. There are actually a lot of Marauders in this army for extremely Zealot-heavy armies. We got a concave happening here, and Steadfast, I don't know that Haas can make this happen. He does have the upgrade lead for right now, but Ghosts are starting to hit the field rather soon. Widowmine shots are going to be decent, and I worry that we're about to hit the inflection point as now Haas, once again, is going to move on in here. Marauder is actually a really powerful component of this force. Zealots getting bled off. The Widowmines are doing so much once again. And Kelazhur is taking a damn good fight. The Stalkers, they pulling forward, trying to do what they can, but Kelazhur, he's just gonna stim on top of them. The Stalkers, they're going down, but it is the reinforcements of Zealots that are gonna make it be a big deal. Widowmines, again, getting their pound of flesh, but this was such a better fight for Kelazhur than it had any right to be. Haas below 20 army supply.
He should not have pushed in there. Now, we have to say, even though that went very, very well for Kelazhur in terms of overall resources lost, he still loses almost all of his army. All of his medevacs were sniped off by Haas, which is great by Haas. He's on 2-2 with +3 armor on the way, and he is going to be able to deny this third command center once again. So this might just be Haas playing Zerg PvT, drowning his opponent in the blood of ire.
Now this, well, actually, technically, Zealots, they warp back to the mothership when they die, as now we're going to have, it looks like the final fight here. Kelazhur took an insane fight, but it does not matter. The third base broken for a third time, as now it is 4 Marauders, a Ghost, and a Prayer, and unfortunately, Kelazhur, his army, not quite religious enough. It will be forced back. But Steadfast, you talk about this being like Zerg. This style is extremely reminiscent of these, of Roachmax styles.
Yeah.
Where it's good, it's early, it can punch through the Terran as they try to take their third. It's GG, there we go, Haas takes it. But if you think about it, there is that moment where suddenly things go late. Suddenly the Terran hits 150 supply, they hit 1-1, they hit 2-2, and it doesn't matter that you're up 50 supply because the army trades so much better. But we never saw Kelazhur get to that point, and Haas 1-0.
Yeah, and where things really started to swing against Kelazhur was when he got matched up against Haas. No, I'm just kidding. Was when he lost that third command center. Lost that third command center, was not able to lift it, keep it alive. It's such a difficult and frustrating style to play against, but he had the right idea with the heavy Widowmine play, staying pretty defensively, looking to take fights. Something else he could have done, try build supply depots, break up the Zealot charges, and just create little strong points for yourself on the map. But all of that is almost for naught when you're going up against a player who has so much more economy after you lose your third Nexus. It's a nightmare.
That it is a nightmare, and one that, I don't know, Steadfast, I'm kind of here for it. Give me those dreams, give me those memes, because it just gives us incredible games. And that really has been the story of today. Outside of anything else, it's been a day where I don't think we've had a single bad map, much less a bad series.
No, we've had some very short series, but they've been fun. They've been very, very fun. The shortest one, of course, has been Haas versus Cyan, and 2 of those games going just around the 5-minute mark. but they were great to watch. They were an enjoyable little burst of insanity, I think is what you would say. For game number 2, this is a tough mental hole to dig yourself out of as Kelazhur, because even when things went well for you, they only went well for you out of context. In context, he still lost all his medevacs. He still lost the majority of his army. He wasn't able to do anywhere near enough. Anywhere near enough.
Absolutely. So now, though, we're going to move into game 2, and I have good news for Kelazhur fans. Haas versus, game 2 is going to be on 2,000 atmospheres. It's a bit bigger of a map. It is a map where maybe you don't want to go to 80 probes, 2 gas, mass zealot, because it's a little bit easier for the Terran player to A, put a drop across the map and force the Protoss army back, and B, just survive against the push. Maybe make things happen a little more. It's maybe a little more choked up around the third. All of these things make it that much harder for that style to work. That being said, oh, go ahead.
Well, also the tanks on the high ground, they can shut things down a little bit more easily. Especially if you take that pocket third. There's just a lot of ways to solve problems. And we are going to now be getting into game number 2. Kelazhur down 1-0. Haas. I feel like now this is where you drop the proxy void ray. Mm-hmm. I feel like this is where you go for it. You've done that mental damage that you yourself are always talking about. And this is where things really come in and just it feels like you're mentally cracked a little bit, like your shell has been damaged.
Yep, you're as cracked maybe as well. You're as cracked as these players are, I guess. That was horrible. But anyways, we're here now. It is game number 2, Haas versus Kelazhur. Let's do it.
All right, spawning up at the top right, representing Prep Esports, it is the red Protoss player, Haas.
And his opponent in the bottom left in the blue for Team Liquid. Looking to get revenge for too many zealots for too long of a time in game 1. He is Kelazhur.
And we are going to be seeing one of these fake proxy racks out of Kelazhur. Kelazhur, it is worth noting, did open up with the double gas opener, and he wasn't able to get anything done, so it put him just a little bit behind. And then, of course, the game, the way it played out, put him very behind. And we watched a very slow death animation for Kelazhur in that one.
Yeah. What I will say, though, is it felt like it was a death animation that was going to pretty quickly go and turn into a reanimation, actually. Because we saw Kelazhur go and almost hold. And if he had not lost that third base, I do think he wins that game. Which sounds crazy, but he was starting to hit critical mass. He was getting enough bio. Haas's fights were getting bad enough that goes maybe 1 or 2 fights longer while he maintains mining at that third base, and I think he actually does take it.
I think there's a really good chance, yeah. I think it could have gone very well for him. We are going to be seeing the pylon that Haas throws down. I think he did maybe have intent to do some kind of proxy there. Kelazhur insta-scouts it, though, and if there was a plan, it's now foiled. We do have this attempted barracks in the natural, and Haas does not scout it, so Kelazhur will get this up and running. The fact that the pylon was not at home means he can't build a shield battery at home, and that's a bit of a problem at this moment. This is kind of an uncomfortable situation, I feel, for Haas.
Yeah, and we're going to have to see how well it works out for him. And on top of that, you talk about no shield battery. there are no stalkers on the field until right now, so nothing even really kills the bunker. So it's second Reaper's going to show up now. Because of the positioning on the high ground, there's no real spot for these Reapers to dive into the main as they would like. The wall is there on the west side of the main. But even still, look at this, though. This is 3-gate Blink off of effectively 1 base. So he's going a little bit aggro here in game 2.
He certainly is. Oh, that probe almost goes down, but will stay alive. Now, the big problem right here for Haas, he can't mine from the natural. He cannot mine from the natural, and that's a really, really unpleasant situation. He's way oversaturated in the main. He is... Okay, there we go. He finally saturates that base up. I think we might see a 4th gateway potentially get built here at some point. That's something we'll keep an eye on for now. At the very least, he probably uses it for slow warp-ins, if nothing else.
These 2 Reapers are about to do hull damage to the Nexus. They've gotten through so much.
So much. Oh, and he's going to get the salvage off and escapes. No.
God.
That grenade was great. That's the mental damage right there. That was the kind of stuff that you're like, wait, seriously? Reapers are this broken? Ugh. David Kim, please.
Exactly.
Oh, hello? Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah. Oh, I'm here. It is not...
No, sorry. I was like, hello, he's not moving and attacking the probe or the pylon.
Okay. Making me worried that the internet had things out for us here from our spot. That is absolutely 100% in Poland. Nowhere else. Widowmine drop is not actually going to find that much, and Blink is not done though, so Dead Stalker, you'll absolutely take that one. Widowmines, they're technically in the drop, but they're just running into the natural. But Medevac just shading them for now, and looks like not too much is going to happen there. Medevac does get, or Widowmine, it does get saved. So at least there's another Widowmine potential in 30-45 seconds if Kelazhur looks to go for that.
That was a pretty nice drop. He managed to force both mineral lines to pull. Obviously, 3 Widowmines is a big commitment. He only gets 3 probes, but as you said, keeps the one alive and will force Haas to at least respect this a little bit. This is kind of cute. He warps in an Adept instead of the more expensive Stalker, knowing that the Widowmine was low on HP. So if it drops out, an Adept will kill it before it burrows. So that's a nice little subtle difference here by Haas. I like that.
Efficiency, the name of the game. And you talk about, okay, 3 Widowmines, only getting 1 probe and a Stalker, which is kind of maybe even better than you might normally expect. You'd like to get 3 probes, but knocking off a Stalker is pretty useful. And the damage he got done early with the double Reaper play is really nice. But now we have Haas with this Blink on the other side of the map. He's only on 3 gateways. We did not see the 4th get added. But even still, Kelazhur heavily supply blocked as he does lose those supply depots. So for now, Haas on the contain, Kelazhur going for the Terran build that we know and love, which means he's going to look to run out here in a minute or so. And for now, seeing the Stalker, seeing the Adept, he will not attempt to go and make anything happen with that Medevac. Not really.
No, certainly not. Not for now, anyways. Now, keeping those units at home, that is value. That is value. It means Haas has to respect that location. We did see Haas. It feels like he wasn't building probes for a little while. He's still on 2 gases, but this time it's going to be DTs instead of the double forge. He really does love this, like, let me do something funky into heavy gateway mass zealot style. And it's tough to deal with. Even with Kelazhur making those right moves in game number 1, he still got overwhelmed by it ultimately.
Steadfast.
You know, going into the mass Widowmine, all that jazz. What's
I
up?
have a very important question. How much energy is on these command centers right now? Because we have DTs incoming and no missile turrets.
We are about to have scans, 1 scan at least. He will be able to warp in those 2 DTs. Is it going to split them up, send them to the natural? There is a full wall here. Ooh, nice job right here from Kelazhur. The surprise. Oh, my God. Wait, what? Oh, he scans and kills the observer. Uh-oh.
Oh, this is a problem now.
Oh.
Normally, this is a great play. Normally, this is what you want to do. You deny vision from your opponent, from your main base. But he does not know about the DTs. Maybe he sees them now as Haas looks to just move and stay out of vision, maybe. Kelazhur, he doesn't know about this at all. He's running out on the map. There are no scans right now. Oh, no! He scanned the 3rd! There is nothing that's going to stop this. Missile turret's on the way just now, but the Zealots, they're warped. DTs are doing what they can. This missile turret should never get up and this is a main base that is in so much trouble right now. Missile turrets going down, DT in the natural as well, finding potentially so much damage, but the SCVs are not dying yet. A little bit of missed micro here from Haas.
Yeah, he's targeting down the missile turrets themselves, but now he is going to go after these SCVs. 12 SCVs already falling. Kelazhur is getting absolutely obliterated by the invisible men. Missile turret, or pardon me, the war prism will get taken out. Oh, the scan not going to... Oh, get it! Hold position, for the love of God. Okay, he does get to that location, but there is going to be another scan available. He will finally clear this up. But it is a massive worker deficit now for Kelazhur. He is in so much trouble. Haas, though, he's supply blocked at a timing when Kelazhur is very dangerous.
Is he, though? His economy is so bad that it's going to be this one army. Haas has reinforcements. Haas can build defensive DTs. You stagger them. You force a scan. You stagger it again. And as every scan has to get spent on things like economy, making sure you recover in some way, missile turrets there prevent the scans needed at home. That I don't know how many scans Kelazhur has here defensively, but in all honesty, I'm not even sure how much that matters. Charge is done. We have Archons here. Haas setting up for a massive surround. Kelazhur looking to move directly into Haas's grasp. But for the moment, Haas backs up.
That was a little weird right there, dropping a scan for an observer when you know DTs are in play. He will retreat, but is he going to be able to get away with these units? The charge lots are nipping at the heels of these Marauders. He's going to be able to get home, and he does have a third command center behind this. He's built a good number of SCVs. He's still quite far behind, and his medevac energy is a big problem for him. But I think he's going to be able to set himself up defensively very nicely.
I don't know, Steadfast. It feels like we're getting into a similar game compared to that previous one. This time it's 3 gas, not 2. So there is something there, and it is single forge, not double. But it's a similar situation. Haas expanding everywhere. He has this big eco lead, and this third base is trying to float down, but there is no way this is allowed to do anything. There is too much here.
Yeah, certainly not. Oh, we're going to see Zealots dropping on the high ground tanks. He will warp in on top of them, and that is a great move from Haas. Kelazhur is going to come back home, will try and cover these tanks. Oh, can he save them? Saves one of them, which is actually more than I expected him to save. Only 6 SCVs falling. Haas just lost a lot. He just lost 18 Zealots for that. That is a lot, and he needs to keep pressuring in order to make those kind of trades okay. He needs to keep Kelazhur off this third base.
Yeah, really good target fire there by Kelazhur, by the way. His tanks not firing on the Zealots that were meant to eat the shots. They were firing on the main army. And I like the idea from Haas, but it felt like the execution wasn't quite there. He dropped and he warped in away from the tanks instead of just right on them. If you drop right on there and warp in right on there, I think those tanks, all 3 of them, do go down. As now we got a big flank coming on in. Haas looking to put Kelazhur between a rock and a Zealot place. But this is just a meat grinder of bio. The Zealots are not dying. Yeah, the third base, again, is not allowed to happen. But it feels like this game is a rehash of the last one. But this time, Kelazhur has the upgrade lead. His army fights so much better. And Steadfast, he has a 30 army supply lead now.
Yeah, and this is what I was worried about for Haas, is if he doesn't find a way to break this third, it feels like Kelazhur is just going to be so much more efficient. But Haas is taking a 5th Nexus while Kelazhur is trying to secure this third. We do have the Zealots going to be able to find more and more SCVs. Kelazhur is going to clean up a lot of this, I guess call it Protoss bio on the right side. A lot of Zealots. These Zealots have fallen in this game. 58 Zealots have died in this game already. Haas, he does not provide health insurance, that is for sure.
Again, well, he's going to try to push in once again, but this time, attack to the high ground. That's a lot of bio. Haas does not want to take this fight. He's just going to try to snipe the base, but that's not going to work, as all the tech's going to go down. Oh, Steadfast, he's going to get the warp prism. None of these recalls, none of these warp-ins happen, so much of the army of Haas, it's dead. It is almost 100 army supply lead for Kelazhur at this point, and yeah, the third base has not been mining. More stuff beats less stuff. I don't know how much that matters anymore.
Look at the resources lost. It is double efficiency for Kelazhur right here. And I want to point something out very, very nice that he did during that fight. And he's been doing it significantly. Haas keeps trying to crush his army from both sides. but he just slipped over to the one side. He's consistently been fighting just half the army at a time. Every time Haas tries to close the pincer, Kelazhur strikes out like a viper and dashes the other side, and he's going to do it again, finding this zealot flank before the other army can come on in. Now he's got Liberators in a great spot. His bio is moving on forward. His +2 weapons complete, which will even the upgrades up, and he is going to take down so much of this army. Kelazhur is going to take game number 2 off the back of insane cost efficiency.
He was so far down. He just getting there. DT will not make anything happen. He was so far down. Half the workers, down a couple bases, down army supply, and down every conceivable metric in this game number 2. But despite that, he's fought his way back. The Roaches, or excuse me, the Zealots, are not going to hold their value in this late game. You need a supply lead. It's 100 supply to 58 in the army. This army does not fight whatsoever. Maybe you stagger DTs long enough, but Kelazhur has enough scans for right now. Another base goes down. He doesn't know about the base in the bottom right, and maybe that is going to be Haas's saving grace, as the army supply deficit is starting to equalize just a little, but that is, of course, until Kelazhur finds these stalkers away from anywhere safe. And
that one sad stalker blinking back up into the main base. Oh,
that's just a message. Tell your friends of where you've been and what is in store for them. As now we have Kelazhur on the high ground. Zealots, they're going to try to make something happen, but the only thing that they can make happen is death, misery, destruction. GG Kelazhur. He ties up this series. Steadfast Kelagod takes us to game 3.
he sure does. And I am looking at the resources lost. 22,975 to 9646. More than double. I don't know that I've ever seen a pro game like this where it is more than 10,000 resources lost when the other player hasn't even lost 10,000. A more than double difference for the relative numbers being that low is insanity.
Yeah, sometimes you see that in ZVTs where the Zerg is losing hard, but even then, that's 20 minutes into a game or something, or a couple of really bad trades, something like that. Never.
But we don't see it in
not
TVP.
This matchup. No, not at all. What a
incredible,
what a cool game. But I think the thing we're learning here is Kelazhur can adapt. This was a very similar style. I mean, different ways of getting there. Absolutely. Faster blink, DTs. That should have, by rights, knocked Kelazhur out of that game. But it didn't. And he held on. And he just sandbagged long enough. Incredible. Really impressive play from a man who, by his own admission, I'm sure he was prepping for Katowice, but has kind of been part-time this year as he works for Team Liquid.
Yeah, he is. And even as he was, mentioned that he's transitioning into full-time, I guess, not pro gamer, but basically just playing part-time, he still hit 7,000 MMR, 7K MMR on the EU ladder. Mm-hmm. And that is a very, very rare company to be a part of.
Rarefied air indeed. But Steadfast, I want to take a moment as we wait for our second lobby to talk about what is happening elsewhere in this tournament, because we have some big results. Probe 2-0 Percival. That's kind of taking a map off for Young told us Probe was in good shape, but 2-0 Percival is massive for the man. Actually, I want to talk about this for a second. Probe has never advanced past the lowest round of IEM Katowice. If the round of 72, he knocks out in 72nd place. Round of 36, knocks out in 36th place. So this is the best result now that Probe has ever had. Hero 2-0 a laser, which is actually kind of surprising. I would expect a laser to take a map there, but Hero moves on. DRG, he's out. So one of the favorites to qualify was killed by Creator, which does not surprise me. Creator has an 80% PvZ win rate over the last 2 weeks, over 45 games. And then, of course, we're waiting on the result of this series, but those are I don't think Creator's an upset, but those are two fairly significant. Well, okay, Hero's probably not an upset either, but 3 significant results.
Yeah. I think we can safely say that no one was expecting DRG or Laser to get knocked out as first round knockouts. I don't think no one was expecting them to get knocked out before Probe. That is almost for sure. I feel like it feels like we're attacking Probe. But I mean, going into this, you have to call a spade a spade. He was expected to be one of the lower ranked players. So him showing up the way that he has, he's got to be very proud of himself, and he should. Because like you said, taking a game off Ryung, we saw how good Ryung is playing. And then 2-0ing Percival, that's 3-2 versus very, very good Korean Terrans. Not your Marus, not your Bunnies, but Percival and Ryung are very, very strong.
And we also have to remember, Steadfast, that there is a tangible difference between getting knocked out in last place in the first round of the lower bracket or the second or the third. It's about $200 to move on to the next round. So at the very least, Probe has secured himself the best payout from Katowice that he has ever received. And wait, who is he running into again? He is running into Estrella. Okay. I think Estrella probably takes that. We saw how good Estrella's PvP was. But still, that's a great result for Probe.
Yeah, and you know what? If of all the players to run into, I feel like at the very least a Protoss is probably his best case scenario. Although, I mean, what does that mean really? Because he took down 2 Terrans. We haven't seen his PvP yet. Estrella's been playing. Well, I mean, he played one other PvP. Maybe Probe has something special prepared for this matchup. Maybe.
I don't know. We're not going to be covering it. We will be moving into, I believe. Shoot, what did I say? We will be moving into Ryung Creator for our next series, which is a very hype matchup. Creator, by the way, is, I believe, the number 2 player ever entered on Eligulac. Something very low like that. Ryung as well, just tells you how old they are. So the fact that they're doing so well, again, it's pretty exciting. And I'm very excited. And I'm also excited for the first non-mirror. Yeah, Creator Eligulac ID number 2. For second player ever entered. And Ryung is 35. But yeah, I'm excited for a non-mirror Steadfast on top of everything else.
Yeah, me too. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun here. I have enjoyed the mirror matchups, but I'm also ready for, a little bit of a break from them. I mean, obviously we've got this matchup here, but Haas is always going to be such a crazy, insane player. And it's cool to see his games, but I'm going to be looking forward to a little bit more standard, PvT maybe between Ryung and Creator. And it's going to be cool since they will know each other relatively well practicing in the same region.
Far better than, say, Haas versus Kelazhur, who, I mean, I don't know that they've ever played each other, at least not often.
I'm going to take a quick peek on Eligulac. They may have never played each other in a professional match. If they did,
they've played once in 2018, WCS Valencia, where Haas 3-2'd Kelazhur.
Was that Haas's insane run where he got to the grand finals and went 2-4 versus Cyril?
It was. No, 1-4 versus Cyril, but yes, it was in the round of 16 where Kelazhur took 2 maps. And then Haas killed Nurture 3-2, which was insane at the time because Nurture was very, very good. Then he 3-2'd Showtime.
That's an incredible... Man, it's so crazy that not only did he have those results, all of them were insanely close. All of them were 1 map away from that miracle run not happening, and that's pretty cool. Apparently, they did also play actually in the World Team League.
Oh, okay.
Where they went 1-1.
I wasn't showing on the Eligulac, showing me what Team Liquid would not. Thank you very much.
Oh.
Oh, shames.
Yeah, it doesn't like the World Team League, I guess, for results because it's just weird in
Yeah.
that way, you know?
Makes me question all the research I did for Katowice. It's all gone.
Just throw it out in the dryer. In the wash, I don't know. Throw it away. Do something with it.
Yep. But now we're going to get into game number 3 in a second. We have the lobby ready. Blackburn is that map. It's another big one, which I got to imagine favors Kelazhur just a little bit the way these two have been playing.
Yeah, I would agree. I would definitely agree with that. But Haas doesn't have to play that way. I don't know if he's thinking he really wants to go for that Mass Zealot style, or if he's going to switch gears and play something a little different. I kind of hope that he's got more than just this in his toolkit. We'll see in a little bit, but it would be a shame if he went out with basically Kelazhur having figured him out in game 3.
That it would, but Steadfast, I have good news because we don't have to guess about what's happening anymore. Game number 3 is here. It's loaded up. Let's do the thing.
Spawning down on the bottom left, representing Team Liquid, it is the Kelagod, Kelazhur.
And his opponent in the bottom right in the red, the master of madness and mystery for Preppy Sports, Haas.
And he is going for something unexpected here, only in the sense that he's Haas, and you have to expect this.
Tell me,
He's going to proxy a gateway.
in a weird spot, too. This is almost like a Maca gateway, but you can't float a gateway.
That's exactly what it is. This is you forgot the part of Protoss school where you don't have floating buildings.
I mean,
I think this just gets scouted though, right?
yeah.
Oh, Kelazhur, actually. If he had gone around the slow zone, I think he scouts it. But as it is, Haas has done his math. He's labbed this out. He knows that will not get scouted.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be, I'm very curious to see what's going to happen here well, okay, so we don't have anything that, at one point cannons were supposed to move. They don't now, but what does this get him? Because Kelazhur's not even looked in the main base yet. I guess he assumes that Kelazhur is going to assume that this is a max packs build, is I guess what this is trying to lead into.
Yeah, and he did something like this versus Cyan in game number 1, and it kind of caught him off guard. Was able to get a weird response from Cyan, and he is going to go for a gold base behind. Oh, no, wait, what? Hang on, is this all just double mind games? Is he going to fake the gold base? Or is he actually going to go for the gold base with this?
Well, he's keeping the probe out of what is happening in this game. My brain is getting all sorts of... Okay, he's going to take the gold, at least for now.
I think he's going to drop like 5 gateways behind this and do a gold base powered just Warp Prism basic gateway all in.
Oh,
I kind of like this move. This is cool.
Oh, this is actually pretty cool. So look at what Kelazhur has done here. He says, I have no idea what you're doing. So he builds a bunker most of the way and says, I can cancel this if it's a problem. But yeah, spending that energy on a supply drop down this early on when you're only on 1 orbital, it cuts into your economy so much.
Yeah, that sucks a lot. That is a brutal thing to have to deal with. Fortunately for Kelazhur, the Reaper does get into the bunker. Haas, he's going to be building a Stalker, but it's going to take a while to get over there. He will drop a couple more gateways. Wait, where is the Stalker going? Oh, man, it took a weird route, kind of. Is he going to... Where's he going to go here?
He can hit... Yeah, the Stalker can hit from the other side of the mineral line, so that should be fine.
Yeah,
Shield battery.
Yeah. It's the correct move to use it that way. I don't know if he has the DPS to actually burn through this healing. And eventually that shield battery is going to run out of energy. Does he have he will eventually have energy for a battery overcharge pretty soon, but it's going to take him so long to actually kill this.
Oh, wait.
Meanwhile, Widow Mine drop.
Yeah, Haas totally on top of it, though. Widow Mine's going to have to get dropped ahead of time. Two into the Widow Mine. And the mineral line, okay, 2 probes die. Good reaction here from Haas, and he will absolutely take 2 workers going down. A nice move here with the Widow Mine, though. Ooh, so Stalker will die, but these are all dead now. And so much of the army of Kelazhur going down at a point where Haas is about to hit him with a big fat wallet of gold minerals, because we already got a warp in the main.
That we, well, maybe?
Maybe.
There's only the one. Is this the only defensive unit? 1 tank? Where are the other? Has he sent everything across the map?
We have.
He's got 3 Marine. Yeah, he's got a lot on the other side of the map. This warp-in is going to be actually very scary. It's 3 Adepts. Wow, man. If it was... Okay, never mind. There's enough Marines here. If it was Zealots and he had instantly dropped on that tank, this could have gotten really, really messy. But as it is, the Adepts do have the ability to one-shot these SCVs, but they're not being target-fired, so he doesn't get even... I don't even know if he's gotten a single SCV yet.
Well, Steadfast, they fight all the Marines as well. It's super great. And now the tank, it's kind of undefended, but I guess we have more production, so that should be fine. And you got to be careful there with the Raven as well, that you're going to be disabled. But the answer's going to be auto turrets, and that's actually going to be a waste of Raven energy, even as the Observer goes down.
I was going to say, it's not really a waste if you get the Observer, and he was able to snipe that good target fire. I think that's worthwhile to prevent Haas from knowing where his defensive setup is. And not having to use scans when you're against a gold base is very, very beneficial. Haas, he will go for the Twilight Council and charge behind this. He's going to be building a ton of gateways. So it's a little bit later and a little bit different than what I was expecting, but ultimately the same idea, which is that big gold base powered throw the wallet at him situation.
That really has been a kind of a theme of a lot of the games we've been playing today, where just one player somehow manages to play super greedy, and it doesn't matter how badly he trades. The Stalker's now into the main base trying to knock down these tanks, but it's only 3 of them. They're not quite where they need to be, so that's not going to get too much, but that means Adepts, they shade in the natural. That's actually a lot of Adepts. 5 SCVs will go down, but Haas, he's still down workers against a 2-base Terran, and yes, 12 of those are mining at the gold. Actually, that's gonna make up for it. Never mind, we're good.
Yeah,
like,
gold bases are very good. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Templar Archon. He's not gonna go for Storm, right? This has got to be Archons.
Nope, it's Storm Draw. Oh, Widow Mine.
Whoa.
Gold base.
It just walked here. It just walked to the base. Where did that come from?
That cuts down so much here. Now we talk about how the Terran is up on workers, and it matters because only like 4 workers now are mining out of that gold, and you're just not seeing the eco advantage. Look at this. It's double the income from Kelazhur in this game right now, but Haas, he's got 6 Zealots warping in the high ground. We're going to see more ferried from the low, and he says, look, if you're defensively set up in your natural, well, I'm going to try to break you in the main base, but look at this Sim City and positioning from Kelazhur as Haas tries to find his way in. The One-Eye Templar for the feedback on the Raven, but the Raven is not there yet. It's not in range, and this Sim City, this positioning is so gosh darn good. We don't even need to see the feedback. There it is, but the outer turrets, they're already dropped. Kelazhur, he's in a perfect position to make this hold happen, but 12 SCVs, they do fall.
And this is still a situation where things are uncomfortable, except for the part where the War Prism was picked off. He's going to go after, takes down the tank, but it will cost him the remaining Stalkers. And Kelazhur has held. He's lost 13 SCVs, and Haas is on 3 Nexi. So he can actually macro out of it, as weird as this sounds. But I do not like the position for Haas one bit. Kelazhur is going to have stim and combat shields very soon. And the push, how is Haas supposed to realistically stop a counter push?
I don't think he tries to. I think trying to stop a counter push in a straight up fight. There are, how many gateways are there? There are 8 gateways, and Archons have a lot to say about the matter, especially as he is mining a little bit more now. But I think the play from Haas really is the moment Kelazhur moves out on the map, you have a Warp Prism, you have 8 gateways, you warp a bunch of Zealots in the main base. You force Kelazhur to make the decision of not die, of either trying to kill him right now or never killing him, because the eco damage is going to be too significant. But Kelazhur, he's got a similar idea. He's got 2 medevacs worth of drops on the bottom side, looking for room, and this Warp Prism is not going to be able to get too much done. In fact, the Vikings are faster. They will be able to take this down. Or not.
He's going to dive for it. No, okay, he does. Wow, nice job by Haas keeping that alive. But good decision from Kelazhur to kind of chill there. I do like this from Haas. He is going to go for the Storm. And Kelazhur not going to go for a push out. It's just this drop. And he could actually gun down these 2 pylons very quickly here. Might go for probes. Oh, recall going to get popped out. We'll go for the shield battery first. And Kelazhur, getting pinned against this location. Does lose a couple of the bio units, but will be able to boost on out. And you know what, Haas? He's really been focusing on unit production, so he made up for all of the losses that he had. It doesn't mean his economy is not great. He hasn't been building probes for a while. But I mean, he's playing this mass gateway style once again, so he doesn't need a whole lot of probes, especially with the gold base.
And one thing we got to remember is that while there is a 3rd orbital, and Kelazhur should eventually take it, in fact, he's going to take it right now, he is a Terran that has been muling pretty heavily. So even as he did have a worker lead and an income lead for part of this, he has very little mineral patches in his main base right now, which means his economy, as good as it is, he's tied with the Protoss player in a number of workers. It's not good because he's really only going to be mining off of 2 bases. And again, Haas does have that gold that he's going to be fully mining from for just a little bit longer. But now Haas, he's moving out on the map with a big amount of army. Does Kelazhur have what it takes to try to make this hold happen?
This is well, I mean, he'll have to give up the 3rd for now. And man, the mass zealot it's so much. We do see, the counterattack on the other side of the map is going to take down this gold base, killing 5 probes. Haas, he didn't have recall. He's not going to be able to get back here. This is a dead Nexus, and he could not push up into natural. Meanwhile, drop coming back into the main base. The Sim City of Haas working so brutally against him.
I guess the one benefit for Haas in this game is he has mined out enough of the gold that his army can somewhat reinforce. But we see Kelazhur doing that thing that I said I thought Haas was going to do in response to the push. You put units on the map, you force the player to return home or lose everything. And a 4th base, I guess this is the 3rd base now, it's going to get canceled as well here. It is a 2-base Protoss, and suddenly this is a much better situation for the Team Liquid Terror. Now, there's no wall here, which means the Zealots can maybe get on top of things. But that is a lot of tank shots that they're eating. And by the way, +1 is done for the bio. They're going to trade a lot better than they have for pretty much this entire game.
Yeah, and it's important to note that Kelazhur seems to have taken my advice. He didn't have the wall, but he has a bunch of funnels for Zealots. And Haas, I mean,